Page 42, The Storm. It looks interesting. It's different. Let's look it over. About a page and a half, although it's got some repeat signs and a DC Al Fine. It's a little longer than it looks, but as far as learning it, it's only about a page and a half. Treble and bass clef, 4/4 time signature. We got eighth notes all over the place. 1N, 2N, 3N, 4N. So I'm going to kind of take this both hands at the same time because most of the time you're just flapping away. So at the beginning, the right hand is third finger on middle C, and the left hand, or the right, this left hand's on the left, right, whichever is here, and then the other hand is here. So you're kind of in each other's way, but really you're only using these two notes in the right hand. So you can get the right hand back out of the way and let the left hand have most of it, because it's got 3 and 4, and then here. If you look at the bottom staff with the notes in it, that's what the left hand is playing. So the right hand can just get back out of the way. I don't even see why you have to have 3 and 4. I don't see why you can't play those with 1 and 2. Get your hand out of the way a little better. In my mind, it's easier if you use 1 and 2 than 3 and 4. I don't know why they want 3 and 4 on that. But they just want you in C position. There's nothing special about C position. It's just you're in the way when you do that. So in my mind, I would use 1 and 2 there. But they're eighth notes. 1 and 2 N. 1 and 2 N. See, the eighth notes are beamed between the notes are in different stanzas. That doesn't matter. They're still eighth notes. Just don't hold them down. So that would be quarter notes. Now we don't want that. We got to lift up for the eighth notes. Go over to page 43 in the third line. They want you to do this. I don't recommend it. I really don't. I'm going to show you a little more advanced fingering because this kind of a pattern happens a lot in music, and this fingering I'm going to show you works very well most of the time. The problem with this, you're using this third finger a lot, and I would prefer not to. So I'm going to use a fingering that uses 4 fingers. It's a 4-3-2-1, 4-3-2-1. I'm just doing this. It's like this. Here, except the thumb instead of here is stuck underneath. So here, I'm going to use the thumb here and 4. So I'm in this position here, and the thumb is also going to play that. So the third finger and the thumb are both taking turns playing the E. So it's thumb, 4, 1, 4, 3, 2, 1, 4, 3, 2, 1, 4, 3, 2. This works so much better, and you can stay relaxed and loose once you get the hang of it. Takes a while. You should do it in both hands. It doesn't matter with the notes. So 1, 4, 3, 2, 1. You don't have to go that fast. My point is, it's really a lot easier to do this than to do that. You'll get tense real quick if you try and do that. And you're using thumb on 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Well, the thumb is on the 1 and the 3. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. And so it. Then when you repeat it, they want the second time they want you to go up an octave. But that's only for the top staff. It's up to the left hand staying here. You're just going up here. Same fingering. See, if they wanted both hands to do that, they'd have to put in both staves or both hands or something like that. Or they'd have to put the second time 8 VA above the bottom staff also, because each staff is independent on moving. So just because you see an 8 VA like that, don't automatically think it's both staves. It's not. It's automatically only the staff it next to. If they want both, they have to say so. Anyway, once you get the notes and the rhythms okay, then we'll think about the articulation. For the most part, we're just connecting it. Here, they've got the slurs per measure. I suggest you just connect it all together. And third line on page 40, again, connect the left hand. Connect that. They don't give you anything, but I'm telling you, connect it. They do tell you to connect it, but they're doing it only a line at a time. I suggest you connect it all. Connect both lines together. Lift up for the rest, of course. It's a fairly connected piece. Then the dynamics. Now, I think this, I don't know if it's an error or not. I think it's a little misleading. At the beginning, the dynamics, they give you an MF for the bottom staff and a P for the top staff. I would tell you need one dynamic, you apply it to the melody and keep everything else in the background. Here, they've also got the hairpin above the staff telling you to get louder. So in the second line, they have an F above the staff. Well, the F, in my opinion, belongs in the middle. There's room right there, you can put an F in there. So in my opinion, the MF at the beginning doesn't need to be there. I'm going to start both hands soft and I'm going to gradually go up to loud and take 2 measures to get there. So I'm soft here, just a little louder at a time. Here. Now I'm loud, and the right hand I'm keeping in the background because I think the left hand is changing notes, so it's probably the melody. So I'm keeping the right hand in the background again. Top page 43, you back down to soft again. So they didn't give you an MF here. That's why I think the MF at the beginning might be misleading. And the second line, you got the hairpin to get softer here. And then you go to the third line, you start soft, you swell up and back down. So it's soft, so you're up and down. The left hand, give it an accent. Okay, if you want. That's a nice effect. Just make sure you don't accent the first one. That's not, it's that. It goes with the swell going on in the right hand. Then once I kind of got an idea of the dynamics and the articulation and all that, then I think about the speed. I've been going a little fast. That shortens the video, but really when you're doing this, you need to keep this down really slow. And Allegro is fast, but that's the overall feel of it. It's not the speed of the beat, it's the feel of it. And I think this, I don't think I'd take it any faster than that. You could go slower than that. You know, that's fine too. It feels fast. Now, the second line on page 43, you got second time retard. So you're going to slow down here when you go into the second ending. Fermata is you hang on to that. It's the quarter note that controls it. You just hang on to that. With a metronome, I'll just hold it for 2 counts instead of 1, then lift them all together. Now a little bit about the road map, or where do we go when here? It could be a little confusing. You see on page 43 in the second line, you have first and second endings. And you already know, I hope, how endings work. But if you'll notice at the first ending, there's no repeat sign there. So you're not going to repeat. So a lot of endings would give you a repeat sign. Well, I've told you before, you're not always going to repeat. So here we don't. We skip the second ending because you never play both endings together. So we skip the second ending and go to the next line. They have a note to next strain. They don't need the note and you're not always going to get it. That strain means to the next line. In other words, you go to the third line. So you finish the first ending, then you go ahead and go to the second, or the third line right there. Right there. Now when you get down to the bottom, there's a repeat sign there to send you back to the third line again, because there's a reverse repeat sign, so you can just play those 2 lines twice. Isn't that fun? And then there's a DC al fine at the bottom. Well, remember, DC means go to the beginning. Don't ask questions, just go to the beginning. Al fine means go to fine, and the fine is at the end, or is the second ending on page 43. There's a fine underneath the staff there. They have the fine in parentheses above the staff. You don't need that. That's just extra. It's the fine at the end of the staff. And the thin and thick bar lines also tells you that's the end. That's the musical symbol for the end of a piece. So yeah, that's where it would be. In the first ending, they give you a thin and thick bar line. I think that's an error. It should not be a thin and thick bar line. You're not ending the piece there, unless you're not going to play the bottom lines. But it should be just two thin lines. Two thin bar lines there, not a thin and thick. The thin and thick bar line belongs at the end of the second ending because that's the end of the piece. So again, I think there's an error in the music. Doesn't affect how we play it. We're just going to go through it. Now on top of that, they've added pedal. Well, isn't this nice? I kind of like it without pedal. I like to hear the clean sound. They want pedal. It's probably part of the score and gives the atmosphere of everything going nuts. But we have to be careful with the pedal here because it's going so fast. If we're not careful with it, we'll miss things. So each time I'm going to use the pedal here, I'm going to push the pedal down with the notes, not after the notes. Normally I'd like to push the note down first and then the pedal. I don't have time. This goes too quick. So if I don't put it down with the pedal, I won't catch the note. The note will be gone. So I got to put the pedal down with the note. And I already told you about changing pedal before. They haven't taught you yet in the method book, so they're not teaching you here. I would prefer you use pedal correctly, or let's not use it. So changing the pedal just means you let the pedal up and let back down. And that's all I'm going to do between these measures, and let the pedal up and back down. First ending, the half note lifted up. We're cleaning out all that sound. And then third line on page 43 here. They're pedaling just the one measure. That helps to give the overtones to that, and then you die away. And at the bottom, lift the pedal up so we get one beat of silence. Pedal comes up with the hands. So that's basically the pedaling. Then at the second ending, there you have it down. Start at the beginning of the line. It's I have the pedal down. I can lift the pedal up on the half note. I clean out the sound, and I don't pedal the in. So it's here. That cleans it out. It's a nice effect. The idea with the pedaling is you got to listen to the effect the pedal is having to it, and do you like it? If not, change it. The pedaling marking, this is part of interpreting music. The dynamics, the articulation, the pedaling, the tempo, and all of that has to do with interpretation. They're giving you some guides here on how to interpret the music, but you can take it further than that if you get into it and you start feeling it. That's where the natural accents come in. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3. You feel the natural accents on that? That's, again, they don't mark them. There's no mark for natural accents. You feel these things. So you adjust these things slightly, a little bit, as you feel it. You got to get past all the mechanics so you're comfortable with the music first, and then you get into the music, and then you start experimenting with the expression. I guess the sun came out at the end or something, I'm not sure. Please don't copy me. You make it yours. You don't have to go that fast. You take it at your speed. If you want to adjust the pedal a little bit, I think that's fine. Let's play this together very slowly just to check the notes and the rhythms. I'm not going to do the pedaling because you can hear the notes better without it. And that's all we're doing is checking notes and rhythms. I'm not going to do the dynamics, but we will do the repeats and the DC and all that. So I'll give us 4 counts. Now again, because we got 8th notes all over the place, I put the metronome on 8th notes. So it's beating 8th notes, but I'll give us 4 quarter notes to come in. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1 and 2 and ready and go and. And 4, go on. Rest, repeat. To the beginning. Second ending.